Hey, good morning guys. Anthony 4x4 Diesel. Just going to give you a quick bit of feedback on a few things. One, it's going to be a little bit of suspension information, a little bit about that Rola roof rack, some feedback, a few changes we've made lately on this vehicle. So sit tight. I'm going to work out what I'm going to talk to you about without wasting any time. Firstly, one of the most important aspects, I suppose, a lot of people have got full drives and they've already modified suspension, or they're going to, or they're looking for changes, or maybe they're not happy with what they've got. Now, back in 2018, we put in the monotube remote reservoir in the rear of this vehicle, and I reckon it was sometime shortly afterwards that we refreshed the front. The front had only done about 30,000 Ks. I did have the 150 Prado coil in the front because, as you can see, there's a bull bar there. K1 bash plates, dual battery, so there's a bit of weight there. So sometimes it makes sense to put the 150 coil in the front of the 120, and vice versa. Sometimes you put the 120 coil that would normally go for this vehicle into a 150 if you haven't got a bull bar on a 150, which is what we've done. So for a long time we've had our springs sort of back to front, if you like. Now, just recently, look, after driving the 150, and it's just absolutely, I'm telling you, it's the best Prado I've ever driven, as in, you know, smoothness, quality on the road, all that sort of thing. After driving that, and on heaps of corrugations, potholes, absolute crap tracks, how absolutely smooth it is compared to when I do the same trips in this vehicle or other similar vehicles, I thought there's got to be, what's going on? There's got to be something wrong with this, right? So what I did, I got a fresh set of monotubes to put in the front. I changed back to the 120 coil springs. I put the 314s in because it's doing some more tracks again now. It's not the touring vehicle. The touring vehicle's our newer Prados, okay? Not to say this doesn't do touring as well, but you know, I sort of dropped the height down a little bit when we were doing more touring and less of the, we need every last millimetre of clearance. So I put the 314s in. They're the highest or longest spring you can get in that part number for the 120s, usually for a bull bar and a winch. Now I can let you know where the heights have ended up in a moment. But the point I want to make is, so I've put exactly the same part number monotube in the front. I've put the 120 springs in, which should be softer, and the ride's marginally better, pretty much the same, might be a tiny bit better. So if I can't tell the difference between a 120 and 150 spring with a bull bar on the front, you probably can't either. Now, so why is it? The reason I did it, you know, I wasn't really that excited about the ride. Now, I'm not saying it was a bad ride. I'm saying I wasn't excited about it, right? It was a good ride, very good ride, excellent on the road. But when we got to the really rough stuff like big corrugations, potholes, there's a lot of sort of banging and shaking around type thing. And the fact that I've got the same tyres, genuine wheels, the same part number monotubes, the same pounds per square inch springs and everything, and I still notice that this is like it was before with a different spring with the other set. Two things, there was nothing wrong with those. They're as good as new. The old ones that haven't been sold yet, by the way, I haven't really pushed it too hard yet. I'll keep them, put them in another car, no problem either way. But if someone's after a cheaper option, they are still available. Basically, what I put it down to now is the fact that the bull bar's there. It's a big chunk of steel. It's very heavy. It's hanging off the end of the vehicle, off the end of the chassis, which can twist a lot. The chassis is only about 2 millimeters thick. I don't know exactly if it's 1.8, 2.2, but whatever. It's about 2 millimeters thick, right? Ballpark. It does twist a lot. And you know, when you hit those bumps, of course the bull bar is going to move and shake around a lot. That's why they specify these, you know, 25 mil gaps here. That's what it needs to be. Otherwise, you know, the ends here can hit the plastic and bust the flare off. See, lots of mixed information in this one. All sorts of things get added into a suspension video, but we're going to move on to other things in a moment. But I just want to say, the 150 without the bull bar, and I've driven 120s without the bull bar, they just also seem so much smoother. And I finally sort of maybe just wake up call, realised that this thing shaking around all the time makes it rougher, or makes it seem like a rougher ride than if you haven't got any of that crap there. It's just, it seems smooth, nothing shaking around, no antennas shaking around, no lights, light bars, bull bars, whatever. Now, for the people that go, oh no, you got to have a bull bar, we've just done just under 60,000 Ks in touring in that vehicle in less than 2 years. A lot of outback tracks, highway trips, whatever. There's been heaps of wildlife. If you watch our videos, heaps of wildlife we've been able to slow down for in time, dodge, pay attention to the road, drive to the conditions depending on how close, all the bushes and what you can see, how close to the side of the road. Don't drive in dark because you're asking for trouble. So, you know, that's another story, that's another argument. I don't want to argue. Each to their own, absolutely. Do whatever you want. I'm just saying, if you want to keep that ride quality, You know, I love to look at nice tough bull bar, and look, there's a lot of things I like about bull bars, don't get me wrong. I really kind of want one, and I'm 50-50, you know, phone a friend, it's like, oh, I want one, but I know what's going to happen, and for the benefit, I think the benefits don't outweigh, you know, the fact it's just going to change the whole aerodynamics and dynamics, the drive of the vehicle, and I don't want that, because that's 99.9% of the time what you do when you're cruising along. You want that maximum comfort to enjoy the ride, you know. What's the benefits? Well, let's not go through it in this video. Let's move on. People have asked about this Rola roof rack again. People still asking about the Rola Titan. I'll give you the answer. The tray's rock solid. Yes, it's stronger than the Rhino. I was told that by an engineer. One of the engineers, head engineer from Kaon, you know, Kaon, who makes all that quality gear you also love. They were the ones that told me I wouldn't get the Rhino, I'd get the Titan. And I said, what, Titan, what's that? I never even heard of it. So thank you to Kaon for pointing out. And they said, look, we've got one on each car. We've got a Rola Titan on one, Rhino on the other. And he's quite, you know, modest about it. Not like me, you know, the bloody Rola Titan's heaps better. Don't worry about the Kaon, I was saying, the Rhino crap. No, it's not crap. I know a lot of people got it. They're going to get upset, you know. It's what it is, guys, you know. You just got to be careful. I don't want to, you know, somebody does it, it's contagious, and everyone just copies without properly exploring the other options. And I suppose that's why we're lucky we've got these engineers from Kaon. I give them an idea sometimes, and mate, they just excel. It's better than what I come up with, and you know, sort of just over and above. Anyway, strong. It mounts with a LRS 034 to the rails, so you don't have to remove the rail. I think it actually looks better mounted with a LRS 034 to the rails rather than direct to the roof with the 6 mounting points. The rails have got 6 mounting points anyway. It's rock solid. You can't put that much weight on it that it's going to matter how many mounting point it's got, if you know what I mean. Your roof's your roof, it's limited. It's not from the strength of the roof or the strength of the tray. It's a safety perspective, how much weight you want to have on your roof, going sideways on tracks, going around corners on the road, whatever it may be. There's a whole, we've got other videos on that. That's why you subscribe, turn the bell on both channels, because this could go on either channel. I think we're going to put this on the diesel thing, because we're talking suspension, which is mechanical 4x4 diesel, right? So the roof rack, yes, definitely, and it's cheaper. The platform's cheaper, right? The whole thing, you can get the platform, get it, wait for it's on special, right? Don't ask me where. There's better places than I know to buy them. I don't know where to buy it, right? Just check it out, use Google, do your research, ask on our groups, where did you buy your Rola Titan tray? What did you pay? People get them on special for between $500 or $600 for the tray, and the mounting kit about $300. So you look at well under $1,000 for the whole thing as you're looking at it there. Let's get up and have a look at it. So I'll whack a few photos in there, right? There you go. Photos probably easier. And people ask the clearance. I don't know, it's hard to measure right up in the middle of that hump there, but I'm going to estimate 60, 70 mil right at the lowest point. It's as low as you need it to go. You want to have enough room to get your arm and your sponge up in there, only just to clean your roof every now and then, you know, not every wash, but you know, once a month or 2 or 3, you might want to get in there and give the roof a good clean up. Anyway, there it is. Bloody awesome. There's your answers to all that. If you've purchased an injector kit from us and returned the red caps and the crowsfoot and the dowel, thank you. If you haven't, please return them. You can even keep your old injectors if you don't want your free contamination check, but if you can send these things back, other people need to use them. Thank you. If you're returning your old injectors for a free contamination check, I'm not really interested generally in which number's which, so don't worry about wrapping them up, sealing them, putting caps on them, whatever. You can get a text and write the number on here if you want, if you think there's a reason, if you've got a specific issue. We're just doing a free contamination check to let you know if there's damage. It means there's probably recently been water in your tank or been water in your tank. It's very rare, but it's worth it for the free check. But you don't need to do any massive patching up and sealing and taping up. Just takes more time for me to get them open again. Just put these into the clear white bags they came in, chuck them in the boxes, tape up the box, put it in one of those cheap red bags, 15 bucks, whatever it is, and all the other gears, mainly what we want back. I'm just providing you that free service. Try not to get crazy wrapping them up. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes to get each injector open. Just starting a bit of an injector job here, and I wanted to point out a couple of little stuff ups so far. from the previous people that worked on the car. I'm just going to point out a few things. Not going to make a big deal here. We'll fix up some of it as we go, and we'll mention to the owner. The clamp down here on the fuel line, straight there in the middle of the picture, it's been over tightened, so some sort of work's been done on it before. The one right there in the middle of the picture, right? That one there. It's mushroomed out. You can probably see it on that angle a little bit. Maybe hard for you to see. Similar thing with the ones up top here on the fuel lines, but not as bad. Now there's a cover that goes over this valve cover, and it bolts down in that hole there and that hole there, right? That's what they're there for. The bolt goes in when the cover goes over the cover, only on the Prados. The bolt at this side, it was just sitting there, it wasn't even started, so pathetic. Now, someone's installed the compressor there, and this is not the owner. This guy, he's only had the vehicle a short period of time. Not a bad place to put the compressor, but the way the airline's facing is a bit of a pain, because that's right where we need to get to all the fuel pipes and that, so that's a real pain. We're gonna have to work around that or move it out of the way. And so that the fuel line doesn't rub on it, they've zip tied the two fuel lines together against this wiring loom to the injector driver. That's not going to be good long term. Can you imagine those hoses constantly pulling on there, rough roads, corrugations, yank, 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 and the bottom green wire is probably going to get pulled out of the plug. If not, that zip tie is going to wear through. So again, DIY installations, or whoever got paid to do the job, car wreckers. Anyway, there'll be more videos on this one, so you don't miss out on all the fun. Subscribe, turn the bell on. I think I've talked enough in this video so far, a bit of mixed information for you. You can see other things here, like the brake fluid's down a bit. There's brake fluid all over. See the wetness around the outside as well, so I don't know. You know, you just got to, look, we'll get it all up to date anyways here. Injector job, BFE job and all that, you know, and give a transmission a flush and fix up a few of these things as we go. It's just going to be a hard one to figure out. What do? Cut the zip tie. If we cut the zip tie, then the hose goes that way and it's rubbing on the compressor. What do we got to... It's not really part of the job for us to... I haven't got time to remove and remount compressors, so possibly another bracket could be required to get that sorted out. I'm sure there's got to be a K-on bracket for that, doesn't there? And if not, that's awesome the one K-on's got over this side, but they need the one over this corner as well. So sit up there nicely between the fuel filter and the wiring loom. Anyway, I'm out here, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, turn the bell on. Bada bing, bada boom.